Not as disappointing though as Bethesda's press conference. Oh my gosh. I don't know how the next two conferences actually get worse than the previous one, but we'll get Bethesda's first. First of all, this
I
conference,
mean,
did you
yeah,
actually watch this one live?
no,
Okay, so the
no. Don't ask me that. You
entire
know
the
that.
entire conference, there were like three guys on the front row screaming, "Yeah, whoa, yeah!" at every single noun. Not even kidding.
For now,
Yeah,
not even like ever.
like Todd Howard walks on stage. Whoa, Todd Howard, whoa, we love you. Even though he literally has nothing over the past year but be a douchebag, but whatever. I'm not mincing words with this guy.
Jeez.
He comes out on stage and makes a joke about how he's surprised people are still playing his games, and then comes this close to seeming to apologize, but then
And then nothing.
swings it to make his game sound better. It's like, what? And then people clap and cheer when they finally make Fallout 76 the game it was originally supposed to be in the first place. They're finally
Mm-hmm.
adding NPCs for free. Yeah.
For free. Like, like it's like, oh, you mean the stuff I
Yeah.
already paid for if I was foolish enough to buy this game?
People are freaking out over stuff that like they wanted for over 6 months and the game is still bad. They haven't fixed anything and NPCs aren't going to be the thing to really fix it. It's just kind of it's just one of the things that they wanted, but it's not going to fix the overall gameplay. Over like servers are still laggy, guns still just disappear out of nowhere, stuff still costs way too much in
Mm-hmm.
the store. Like there are still many problems that NPCs alone can't fix.
Mm-hmm.
And then also a battle royale because every online game is a battle
Every
royale.
game's a battle royale. I mean, at this point, it like everyone's a battle royale. Like, come on, like you knew it,
Don't
but
don't invoke Johnny Cash. Like or in Ring of Fire, I get that it was fit the motif of the trailer. The storm is actually a giant ring of fire that comes in, but like you're really gonna sully Johnny Cash's name with that during this trailer? Like, come on, dude. Uh, so yeah, they just kind of the way this proves to me that they're doing nothing but just kind of ignoring the problem and then adding stuff that they should have had in the first place. Like, and they said it's not even coming now; it's coming like a couple months down the line. So,
Mhm.
just that was just so. This was your one chance to like have restored goodwill in players, and all you did was add a feature that we wanted there in the first place. You didn't
I
say,
mean,
"Oh, we'll keep working to fix stuff in the future." No, just this. That's it. Battle Royale. You want
yeah,
more like
and
that, right? Wow. Like, shut up.
you brought back the woo. But no, like, is it bad that they're getting to the point? Like, a lot of people, like, you're gonna have like people in front of you talking about that are just like, oh, everything you do is naturally amazing. So, like, is it bad that like people, like other people are getting excited about things that should already be incorporated? Like,
Mm,
does that show that our, like the culture with games is just like, oh, take whatever we can get and be very, you know,
I don't.
excited about it?
We
I don't
should
know.
expect more from these billion-dollar corporations, but apparently not. Apparently, it's a big deal that Elder Scrolls Blades, a mobile game, is being ported to Switch. Cool. Why would you play that when Skyrim still exists? But whatever. Like Elder Scrolls Blades
I
is
mean,
literally Skyrim, but for mobile, but bad. So I don't really
yeah, and I mean, if it's on mobile, like I don't know, a lot of mobile stuff is just kind of like,
like. That was the
I don't
one
know.
thing this Nintendo had any fanfare outside of Doom Eternal also coming to Switch. That was the one
Hmm.
thing. It's like, oh, we get a mobile game ported. Cool. It's like, oh, whatever.
Sure.
And the majority of this, the first half was nothing but Elder Scrolls and Fallout stuff. Which, like, I know that's like their two big games, and they also, tease that Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 are still coming. Nothing new to show though.
Mm-hmm.
Although they did have a 5-minute CG trailer for Elder Scrolls Online new expansion, where a bunch of people fought a dragon in the least MMO way possible. Like, you can't do any of that stuff in game. That's not even like, you can't jump onto its back and like cut off its wing. You can't, like, all the stuff they're doing is not stuff you can do in games. So the CG trailer means nothing.
Yeah. That's the thing about CG, especially like now CG trailers. Like, oh yeah, look at all this stuff. Like, because not only does the game look better with the trailers, but it's also just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be so great. It's like, oh, when do we do that? You wanted to like actually do? Oh,
Sorry.
show it to you again. He's like, you can see it again in the game, but that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like this.
And
okay.
yeah, they weren't done with weird trailers for Elder Scrolls stuff. You know how every Super Bowl there's those weird live action trailers for mobile games, and no one likes them?
Yeah.
They had a live action trailer of a dude sitting in a diner playing Elder Scrolls Legends, the weird card game for Elder Scrolls. And it's one of those super, super cliche trailers where like the dude is like sucked into the game and like he's like in this tavern in an Elder Scrollsy setting, and then he walks into a table and this girl is sitting there. She's like, "Think you could take me?" And he's like, "I know I can," because there's always a girl who's like, "Oh, I'm fighting a girl. I wonder how this is gonna like." Stop it!
Don't do that.
So cliche.
Grow up. No, stop it. Get some help. From me.
And the streamer I was watching, who was reacting to this trailer, he was legitimately furious that they had this 3-minute long live action trailer for a mobile game that is already out, which costed them millions of dollars to make. And it wasn't even a good trailer. It was the most cliche, boring, tired live action mobile trailer he had ever seen. Just why?
It still cost me so much money to use it at E3 because
okay. But so everything Elder Scrolls was just pathetic this year. Like, I just don't. Of course, that one guy wooed and yeah the entire time as if any of that meant anything. And then right after Elder Scrolls Legends, they went on to a new Commander Keen game, which Commander Keen was a game from, I think, the SNES era, which is like essentially like comic book superheroes in like a. They said like these kids like imagine themselves as superheroes in like a Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic. And the original games are actually pretty cool platformers. This is a mobile game. They brought this franchise back as a mobile game, and the gameplay is just not even really what Commander Keen was. It was just, I don't really remember what the gameplay was like, but it looked pretty generic for mobile, and like that's not. I hate so much, and we'll talk about this more with future press conferences. I hate so much when developers know fans want a certain franchise or game, and they bring it back in a mobile game, and they're like, "Oh, if this game does well, we'll make a new one." Like, that's not how this works.
No, and like nobody likes like mobile games are just no, like that's not what we want.
And especially when they try to play it up like this mobile game is for the hardcore gamer, when hardcore gamers want to play on their console and PC. Like, mobile games are just there to like kind of pass the time or on the toilet. Like, that's not.
You're not wrong.
This is not how you bring back a franchise that's been dead for I think 20-ish years. Like,
it's kind of disrespectful and all.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like, oh, we're bringing it back a mobile. It's like, no, like mobile game like Doodle Jump and Angry Birds are mobile games. Like, don't put these games that you know good and well you need to put on these consoles on people's phones, man. Like, come on, man.
So yeah, they spent way too long on mobile stuff, but like they still had some other new, some new IPs. Thank goodness. Starting with Ghostwire Tokyo, which is a game clearly set in post Thanos, Hawkeye universe, where everyone in Tokyo was just snapped up, gone, and Hawkeye, basically Hawkeye, has to go around and fight ghosts.
Because why not?
Because why not? Like, he has a bow. It was a CG trailer, so I still don't really know what the game is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, a dude shooting ghosts with a bow and arrow, with like maybe with like other supernatural stuff happening. Maybe like a conspiracy with the local government. Like maybe they had something to do with like all that story stuff. Like that's pretty cool concept. I'm here for that, but I kind of would have liked to see a little bit of gameplay. But conceptually, I'm here for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we'll see again. I'm like, and it sounds like a good, like you said, it kind of sounds like a good idea. Maybe the presentation could have been better, but I mean, again, I think that's just kind of the theme of E3 this year. Kind of, oh, this could be great, but the way you presented it makes me hesitant because it doesn't sound great.
Same with the very next game, Deathloop, which essentially the way they presented it, these two people are in this time loop where like if one kills the other, it resets the time loop.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that concept is really cool. Another CG trailer.
Yep.
I don't know what kind of is it like a battle royale type thing. Is it single player? Is it multiplayer? Is it what's the story?
It sounds like something that'd be like singular multiplayer, but they might have a battle royale like adaptation in the future.
Yeah.
Just to be like, oh, but now we're doing this, even though everyone saw that coming because that's not really a new thing anymore.
Because like if it's a single player game, I just don't really know how they would really incorporate you dying over and over and over again, like, and make that fun. If it's a multiplayer, dying and respawning isn't anything new. So
right.
I don't know. They really should have shown at least some gameplay of this, like in like a stream later, or like somehow present gameplay of this.
Yeah, how they're gonna make this concept work, kind of.
Yeah, but the concept is still cool. If this were just like a movie, I'd be way into it. And there probably have been movies similar to this before, but as far as game wise, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that interesting, but
yeah. Although, thank goodness, we actually got gameplay for the first time this conference, I believe, with Doom Eternal. Thank goodness.
I mean, they had to give you something because literally, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah, bro, we're gonna say that, we're gonna say that. Elder Scrolls, no. Okay, but we're gonna say that.
No.
Well, not really. Okay,
outside of those three guys in the front row, no one cares.
Yeah. I was like, what? Like, so what are we getting? We got Doom. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay. But like, you sit down because you want it, but it's also like,
okay. But yeah, this game looks like the first Doom, which I love, just bigger and better. And for a game like this, where like they had, I think, 3 different trailers. One trailer just like a general gameplay trailer, and the editing of that trailer was god tier. Where like he like shot one dude, turned around, a completely different environment, and like kept going, air dash, different environment. Like just the way it was cut and edited was like just showed a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time in a very clever way. So I really liked that trailer. And they showed the new multiplayer trailer where you can either play as the demon or the Doomslayer, and like you hunt each other. First to die loses, which that is really cool. and then they finished it off with like just 5 minutes of the Doomslayer just shooting dudes, because why not? Showcasing a bunch of the new weapons, like a new flamethrower, a new giant gun, like yes, all of it.
Yes, please. Correct. Well done.
And
Yeah, I mean,
and yeah, that was stuff like that is what this entire E3 should have been. Gameplay trailers, gameplay
actually
like
seeing stuff you will be doing instead
Yeah.
of just watching movies, which, that's great, but I mean,
I didn't.
that's not what I want to see at the biggest event of the year,
Like if it's just a teaser trailer, that's one thing. But especially if it's a teaser trailer for a concept that's already kind of hard to comprehend, like Deathloop, kind of want to at least get a general idea of what it's gonna play like. But for Doom, even if it was just a CG trailer, you know what it's gonna be like. It's just Doom, but more. So they didn't even really need to do this, but they felt gameplay is the strength for this game. Which every game should have gameplay, the strength, whatever.
Like, what else would the strength of your game? Like, I mean, yeah, some games it's like, oh, it's a really good story, but I mean, like, you still have some good gameplay.
Yeah. So we're gonna show gameplay after gameplay after gameplay, and end the show with that. Perfect. That's how you win the show. This is my second least favorite conference, only because of Doom. If Doom was just as disappointing as Deathloop and Ghostwire, which like the concepts themselves were really great, but the trailer itself was out kind of iffy on. If Doom was just was as disappointing as those, least favorite conference of all time. Just no.
Because all time?
Maybe, honestly.
Dang.
And one thing I didn't touch on was that they also announced that Bethesda is developing a new streaming tech service thing called Orion. And as soon as the guy presenting it said, "We're here to talk to you about our new Orion initiative." Yeah! And he literally said, "We haven't told you what it is yet." It's like, yes, that right there.
It's like, thank you for saying what we were all thinking. But there's people out there. It's like, oh, I could just be like, oh, look, I just took. He's like, oh yeah, I just peed in a bucket. like somebody's gonna lose their mind. Like,
yeah, and like it's just a new way of streaming to your phones and tablets and whatnot. Like, and it was so awkward how they presented it. Where like a girl walked out with a tablet, with like a pretty big smartphone connected to a controller. And she was playing Doom 2016, and it was like weird at an angle off camera footage. It was like, as you can see, Doom 2016 is playing flawlessly. She stood there for 10 seconds, then walked away. It's like, okay, I didn't really get to see what was going on, so you could tell me it was flawless, but like, I don't have any proof of that. So that was just awkward overall. Just have them announce new streaming, which is also another pretty major theme of E3 as a whole. Every single major developer has this new streaming service. Like Microsoft has xCloud. We'll get to Ubisoft in a second, but they have their new Orion initiative, which I guess it worked. She was playing a game. It looked like it was running fine. Like, I don't know, it just didn't really mean anything. Can it only play Bethesda games? Is it going to be used for other services in the future? Like, it didn't really explain what it was. So, yeah, that guy saying woo really had no reason to say woo.
But he was excited.
Yep. 4 out of 10. Would have been a 2 if not for Doom.
Not happy.
No, not at all, honestly. One reason it's not a 1 is because the woo guy was just kind of funny. That's it. That's the one
I feel
saving
like that
grace.
would get like it's funny at first, but like I feel like after like the second time, I'm like, all right, just chill. Like we get it, you're excited, but like you gotta.
Uh, mm. So Bethesda's conference was very, very bad. We can both agree on that. However, but Ubisoft's 2019 E3 press conference honestly might be the worst press conference in the history of E3
Ever.
ever. And Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony have had some bad ones in the past. Like 2008 was terrible for all three, but this one just okay. This
Good.
did you watch it live?
No.
Good.
No.
This thing was an hour and 20 minutes too long. So, you know how I kind of ragged on Microsoft for like starting weird and not really like picking up steam after that?
Mm-hmm.
At least Microsoft started with a game. Ubisoft's press conference, the first 5 minutes of it was an orchestral rendition of various Assassin's Creed songs. Which, if you ask people who played Assassin's Creed, in general, the music is not its best quality. Not saying it doesn't have good music, but that's not what you think of.
That's not why you play Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. So for Ubisoft to just start their press conference with a random Assassin's Creed music, which apparently there's going to be that's like Assassin's Creed concert tour happening later this summer. Like that just set the tone for what kind of conference this was going to be. And it's not even like that Assassin's Creed concert was advertising a new Assassin's Creed game, because that Assassin's Creed Vikings game or whatever wasn't there. There was no new Assassin's Creed game announced this year. That was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were trying to like make up for the lack of it with the music, but I mean, I don't think anyone really cared.
No, not at all.
But I mean, but we remember the fans. What are you doing?
We remember when we remember Assassin's Creed existing. You can't just tease, oh, here's some music from, because I know I've said before that live orchestra can be done very well. Like when God of War had their orchestra, when Skyrim had their had their theme song played live. They can be effective, especially when tied with a game. Back in 2004, when Nintendo announced Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, they played the theme song, or like one song from the game, live, and it was awesome, and then it tied straight into gameplay of Twilight Princess. But when you just randomly start with Assassin's Creed music, it doesn't mean anything. There wasn't even like a collection announced, or like it was just weird. And what made this start even weirder was that the orchestra finished, it then cut down to these two people standing kind of in the crowd, and they were like, did everyone like that? Yeah. And then they were like, Assassin's Creed Orchestra is going on tour. Now, before we really get this press conference started, I want to hear the people in the balcony, I want to hear you. And then all the people in the balcony of the theater screamed. And then now the people on the lower level cheered. They cheered. And then they're like, oh yeah, you can really feel the energy in this room. Let's get started. 10 minutes into the conference, we're now finally actually starting.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, they're just, I don't know. They're trying to maybe they were just trying to use up time.
But it was already an hour, 20 minutes. What they just showed was like a pre-show that you show right before it starts. But no, that was how you
show.
That's how you start the. That was. that was weird. And and then, you know what? They did have one good thing at this conference, and that was Watch Dogs Legion actually looks pretty cool. Have you seen gameplay from this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it was rumored beforehand that you could essentially play as any NPC and like all their stories would be connected. And I wasn't really sure like how that would really work, but then when they showed it in motion, that's like kind of been a dream game that me and my brother have wanted to like kind of theory cut for a while. Something where there's not really one main character, you can pretty much play as anybody, especially Hell and the Grandma. That was the sweetest moment from that entire conference was watching that old lady just just waste dudes.
It's some crazy stuff, and like everyone being playable is always such an amazing feat. And it's
Yeah.
like it just kind of gives you the feeling of I can really do anything in this
Yeah.
game.
I will say that the gameplay demo that they started with kind of dragged on a little too long, and I know I ragged on Bethesda and Microsoft for not showing much gameplay, but I feel Ubisoft either have really great CG trailers, or they exclusively do just gameplay demos shown live on stage, which those can be effective if they're like 2 or 3 minutes showing a new concept. But this one had a guy kind of industry hacking some phones, and then he fought a drone, and then it cut to the grandma, and then it cut to a different character, and then it cut to another character, then it cut back to the original character, and it just lasted way too long, especially for it to be the start of your conference. It just kind of dragged on. It just didn't really get me excited in a way that just showing this concept in like a gameplay trailer, which can be done effective like that Doom trailer. It just, I don't know, it definitely was not the best way to start this already. What ended up being like a really bad conference, not the best way to start it.
I mean, yeah, okay, I see your reason.
So, part of the reason why this conference was just garbage was they spent 10 minutes on that guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a random TV show with Apple TV. I know it's based on a game that Ubisoft makes, so like it kind of ties in that way, but like they spent 10 minutes on this TV show at E3.
Mm-hmm.
That does no one else see a problem with that?
Yeah. It,
I know it's based around a game, like kind of like parodying game development and whatnot, but like, that's not how you, especially just the way they presented it, just the way it was just kind of inserted into this press conference as if people actually cared. Like, I mean, didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would. I think I see their reasoning because it's supposedly a show about game development, and I mean, who else to joke about? I got that than with gamers, so I kind of get that. I just think this isn't something you throw at E3.
Yeah.
This is more like actually just games you're doing, not just look at this show. We're like I mean, granted, no one else is doing that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's a good thing,
Yeah. Like, there are many things just throughout this entire conference they could have cut, and it would have been like a 20-minute show, and it actually would have been kind of decent. But stuff like this, it just drags, and no one really cares. Like, you could have just had this as a separate announcement that's like around E3 to kind of still get the game hype going, but don't waste time your conference doing this. Like, so there was that. Another similar instance of Ubisoft just having random weird stuff in their conference. The Division 2, they announced DLC for that game and like
Mhm.
new expansions, which I appreciate when developers show like this game this game did well, but we're still gonna support it for the foreseeable future. I like when developers do that, not just like EA or 2K where it's like, oh, the new version's out, or like, oh, this game's been out for 6 months, kill it. Like, I appreciate when developers do this.
Mhm.
But then at the end of the Division 2 segment, the guy right before he leaves is like, "Oh, and you know that the Division movie we've been working on with Jake Gyllenhaal? No, but
Yeah.
go on, I guess. We are pleased to announce that we're developing it with Netflix.
That's not
Exits.
gonna be crap at all.
What? You play it up like it's some huge announcement that it's coming out on Netflix. Like, oh, okay, like you somehow found the studio to make this weird TV show, but you got Jake Gyllenhaal, but you couldn't find a studio. But you, same time, you see it as a big deal to announce net. Like, why should we're making this movie about a game with Netflix? Why should that be a E3 announcement?
Yeah, there's E3. They weren't really focused on game stuff, more
No.
just entertainment. Which, again, like I said, like I guess is a different take, so it's not as much used. But I don't think that was the right call for this certain thing. Because I mean, like, yeah, okay, oh, we're making this show and this movie, and I'm like, okay, and they have stuff to do with gaming, but like, that's something just for yourself. Don't do that for
But
E3. Don't. You're
for
putting up
this,
against no.
at least if you are going to announce or talk about this movie, at least have like concept art or Jake Gyllenhaal dressed up as a character from the movie or something, not just or making it with Netflix. Yeah, be excited. Like, no,
You're
this
excited.
isn't the
Why?
time for
Because I
that.
said so. Just I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Why? Because I said so. Okay, that doesn't change what I think, but all right.
And then they had the obligatory Just Dance sequence,
Mm-hmm.
which it was set to popular songs. It was just it was like the one time through this conference where I kind of felt like anyone on stage was actually having fun, which is
Mm-hmm.
weird for Ubisoft because usually they generally like the developers talking or the people on stage have pretty high energy and actually kind of end up caring even if I don't actually care about the game itself. I care about what they're talking about. That
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really present outside of Just Dance, which was just people dancing to a popular song. So,
I just think it's funny that they're making it on Wii,
yep, not the
not
Wii
Wii
U.
U, not Wii U. Wii, like 2000, like what, 2009
6.
maybe? 2006? Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
It's going to be the last game on Wii. Like they said, they're not making a Just Dance after that, but like they're proud to be the last game on Wii.
And people are gonna buy it too.
Yeah,
Like,
clearly it's done well enough for them for the past 2 console generations since the Wii for them to keep putting it on Wii. So it's gonna sell probably at least 10,000 copies, if not more than
yep,
that. So
yep.
that's just free money for them.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you might as well. Like at this point, it probably doesn't take that long to make Wii anyway, because you
Uh,
probably just take the same animations. Okay, new song, go.
mm,
My goodness, I can't
yeah,
believe it.
but it's there if you want it.
It's there. Is it bad that Just Dance is the most exciting game in the entire conference? Is that a problem? Uh,
Now,
one of them.
you know how I talked about there have been rumors of a new Splinter Cell game.
Mhm.
Um, and there wasn't one. There were all these rumors last year, but it didn't happen last year. And there have been
Mhm.
pretty steady rumors up to this point. There
And
wasn't a new Splinter Cell game at this E3,
nope.
but there was a game that had Sam Fisher in it. Sure was. A freaking mobile game.
These mobile games, I swear.
Featuring all your favorite Tom Clancy characters. Like, and Sam Fisher's there. Hey, remember this guy, right? We haven't made a game in his franchise for 6 years, but he's there. Get excited for this mobile game with him in it.
Mobile game. Dude, I don't know, man. Like we've talked about how much I'm not a fan of mobile game, like how disrespectful I feel mobile games are. But I mean, I can't.
And like, this is the same E3 that Commander Keen came back as a mobile game. So like this is another slap in the face to people who wanted this character. They didn't want him in mobile.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's one thing if you have this Tom Clancy's All-Stars game in addition to a Splinter Cell, console game. But no, it's not that. It's just, at least they showed gameplay of it. It wasn't just weird CG trailers of a mobile game. They showed gameplay, which looked kind of cool, I guess. But like, this isn't what I want to play Sam Fisher in. I want to be a spy and just, like I said in our prediction stream, he is like objectively one of the coolest characters in video games, period. I don't want him to just be in mobile. That's not, he deserves more than that.
Disrespectful.
But whatever, it's fine. Kind of.
Is it, bro?
No, it's not.
It's fine. I don't know about that.
Like that and the whole Gears of War thing of, hey, go to Mixer to actually see gameplay. Those are the two just worst parts.
Leave our conference. Go watch this instead. We're not doing anything important, I promise.
And like, they didn't.
You don't tell people. I mean, that's like saying, hey guys, you want you go to your job. Hey guys, you want a really good burger? McDonald's has this sale going on. You should go there.
I wish I could.
Oh my god.
But yeah, they talked more about Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which, even though there have been multiple CG trailers for this game up, leading into E3, they showed another CG trailer for this game that we already have known the story about for a month, or actually I think a couple of months now. Showed more of more CG trailers stuff. We haven't seen much gameplay of it, but go on.
There was a dog though.
There was a dog.
Sorry.
There was a dog.
There was
If
a dog.
DC3 we can get Keanu Reeves and a dog at the same time.
Oh,
Now we're talking.
We'll get the dog from John Wick.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Someone shoots him. Oh my god. No, Keanu, no, it's just a prank. Killed everyone.
Yeah, and the Punisher is playing a character in Ghost Recon. So I guess there's
That's
that.
cool. It does exist.
Yeah. And it's apparently a theme of this year to have the Terminator playable or have you fight against him. So
where did that come from?
I mean, Terminator Dark Fate is coming out later this year, which doesn't look good.
No,
I guess
it
it's
doesn't.
like trying to tie in with that.
That really doesn't look good either. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, why do you want to tie yourself with some like dumpster fire potentially?
I don't, because James Cameron says this one's actually going to be good, even though he actually said the last one from 2016 was going to be good too, and that one wasn't either.
I don't think the Terminator needs to come back for a while.
No.
But I mean, I don't know.
And there was some new Rainbow Six stuff. There was a Rainbow Six Siege update with new content that's a crossover with the Kingsman.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
That was interesting.
I guess. I didn't really, I don't know. Something about games crossing over with movies that don't really fit always kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I like Terminator and Kingsman both having DLC in the same conference is just.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't sound.
no, it just
Because
doesn't.
those movies don't fit.
No.
So like it doesn't feel right that they fit in the same world.
Mm-hmm. But there was a one of the only new game announces at this E3, Rainbow Six Quarantine. We got a CG trailer for it.
Yeah, it looked kind of more like not like horror-ish.
Yeah,
Kind of?
I think from the press release afterwards, because we don't have actual gameplay to go off of. From the press release afterwards, it's like I think they said it's like 3v3, uh, where essentially there are like multiple teams where one player is infected, and that player, like, if you after a certain time the infection like spreads, so there's one team trying to kill that player, one team trying to save him. Maybe I couldn't. It was kind of confusing, and again, I wish we actually seen gameplay to like actually submit how this game plays. but but no, we have to rely on press releases apparently now to actually see how our games work.
Yeah. Yeah. But maybe there'll be gameplay next time.
Maybe. I think it's actually coming out before next E3, so this was kind of their one chance to.
Yeah, because it says it's like early 2020 from probably
Yeah.
this. So
No,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm glad there's a new Rainbow Six game, like, and I'm also really glad that they're still supporting Rainbow Six Siege while also having this game in development. So, kudos to them, I guess.
Yeah. Still.
And another just kind of general theme of this E3 was every single developer now apparently wants their own streaming service.
Yes.
Microsoft has xCloud, Bethesda has whatever their streaming Orion thing was called, and Ubisoft has had UPlay for a while now, but now they have UPlay Plus.
Ooh.
Wait, $15 a month to play all the Ubisoft games you ever want.
Okay.
Like, okay, what if I don't like Ubisoft? Get like at least for Microsoft's Games Pass, it's first party and a lot of third party games. So like you have a pretty big variety there. Like Ubisoft, it seems like the majority of the games that are going to be there at launch are just shooters.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. And also, like, one weird detail just kind of sprinkled in there is that Uplay Plus will be available on Google Stadia, which is another streaming service by Google, at launch. Which
Kind of.
I know this is the future. I understand that streaming is where gaming is going. I think it's like 5 or so years too early, but like, sure, Google, try it. Why not? But for Ubisoft to say our games will be streamable through Stadia, which is already a streaming service, that just sounds. I don't know. That sounds weird to me.
Is like not smart on their part or what?
It's just the concept of a streaming service being streamed through another streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't work in my head. Like you're paying $10 a month to play on Stadia, to then then pay $15 a month to play Ubisoft games.
No. People aren't going to do that.
No. Will it maybe be cheaper in the short term? I guess, but I don't know that. Like, I guess if you're only excited for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and your PC / internet is good enough to stream it, paying $25 to stream Ghost Recon Breakpoint in 4K for 1 month, I guess would be worth it for you if you don't want to keep playing it after that. But after a good while, like, after a year, that's going to be more expensive than the console itself. So you might as well just.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. That's for. They'll. I'm sure they'll kind of streamline how streaming services will work better in the future. But right now, I'm just not really. I'm just not really a fan of how everyone's trying to jump on the bandwagon of streaming stuff when it's really just not there yet.
Well, see, I don't know. I guess people want to get their foot in the door early because, like you said, this is going to be the future. So, I mean, people are like, hey, I want to do this as soon as possible because, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I guess. Oh, so one thing I kind of forgot to mention regarding the Ghost Recon Terminator DLC is that the way they framed it is like we've been listening to fan feedback regarding all our games, and I think you fans are gonna like what we have next. And then they show like a really short trailer with the Terminator 1 music playing in the eyes, and then they move right on to the next thing. Like, A, did fans demand to fight the Terminator? That seems like a really odd request for a majority of people to have them for.
Mm-hmm.
And B, you're just gonna randomly say the Terminator is gonna be in Ghost Recon Breakpoint and then not address it at all? Just move right on?
We'll just leave you with this. Oh, wait, what about the...
What was that? Oh, I guess we'll never know.
Oh, yep, he's gone.
Yep. So they did end with two actually pretty compelling looking new game announcements. The first being Roller Champions, which is another game that got leaked like a month in advance. But regardless, it looks kind of like Ubisoft's answer to like Splatoon and Rocket League and like those style. I wish we actually got a gameplay demo to actually see how, because like the CG trailer we got, it looks fun, but I couldn't really get a sense of how it actually played. So I kind of, for this game in particular, I kind of wish we had gotten at least, like two people on stage, like just playing one round together. I think that would have worked.
Just a little bit, yeah. Because like you're like, oh, it looks good, but all this is not actual gameplay. So it's like, so it's probably just the opening intro or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. But from the gameplay demos I've seen, like from people playing at E3 itself, they really like it. Mm-hmm. So
okay,
I think the beta is actually starting either later this month or early next month. So
yeah, it's like something. There's something here that says pre-alpha the next few days or so on PC.
Okay.
So
okay,
people can see for themselves. And I guess we'll find out.
Mm-hmm. And then they ended the show with a game called Gods and Monsters, which the trailer we got clearly was heavily inspired by Zelda Breath of the Wild. And that game is amazing, so I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. Like just the shot of zooming in across the grass, like seeing a couple enemies here and there, like past the tree line, up a mountain to the main character's back, straight out of Breath of the Wild original trailer. Mm-hmm. Like it is. Like, almost shot for shot that trailer, but it's fine. Like, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. It does look really nice, though.
Yeah, it looks really pretty. The concept looks, I think, is pretty interesting. I think it says coming out sometime next year, so... But for something like this, which is apparently coming out early next year, again, seeing just a little bit of gameplay would have been nice. Like, this is the kind of thing... Like, if you're just teasing your game for the first time, that's fine to just have a teaser CG trailer. But for this, which is coming out in less than a year, I just don't know what Ubisoft was really doing this entire conference of games are coming out soon. Everything aside from Watch Dogs Legion, not going to show you any actual gameplay.
I guess, yeah, I mean, maybe they were using this E3. I mean, no, I can't even say that because all their games are supposed to be coming out before the next one. So I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know. I guess maybe they'll have, like, individual, like, I don't know, like, introductions and
Ubisoft
trailers and
Directs
stuff.
or whatever.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I guess they'll have that and like that to maybe get more gameplay showing as the year goes on. But I
Yeah,
mean,
and like Gods and Monsters is coming on the Switch, so like it could easily be showed more in a Nintendo Direct, and stuff like Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon stuff could be shown in like a state of play for PlayStation. So there are more opportunities to show gameplay, but like we're at E3 to see games.
right?
Like both Microsoft and Bethesda and Ubisoft just didn't get that memo apparently.
You're missing out.
It was also disappointing that Ubisoft just forgot to show Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil. Those games just weren't there.
They probably just don't have anything to add. Like I don't think it's. I don't know.
I thought last year Skull and Bones was supposed to be out this year, but I guess it got delayed.
Mm-hmm.
And Beyond Good and Evil, I guess, is still just a movie at this point, because we haven't seen any gameplay of that outside of like a little snippet of the main character like riding on a speeder. But I don't know that.
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, just the flow of this entire conference. Like the way I recapped it was way out of order how they actually showed it.
Mm-hmm.
What they should have done was essentially how I presented it. You start with your big game, Watch Dogs, then if you have to show the movie and the show stuff, show those together, then do all the Tom Clancy stuff together, then your new IPs at the end. I think that's a pretty decent way to space it out. But just the way they did it, they had Watch Dogs and Ghost Recon fill up the first like 30 minutes of just those two games, and it just felt like it dragged way too long. And then right after that, they had the Mythic Quest TV show thing happen, which just also felt like wasn't supposed to be there. So 2 out of 10, honestly. Like I'm not pulling any punches with how I'm rating this. 2 out of 10. Just
2 out of 10.
Every single chance they had to show actual gameplay, they didn't. The
This is
flow
true.
was terrible. The new stuff they did show looked interesting, but I'm sorry, a lot of it got leaked beforehand. That's not your fault, but like that's Ubisoft is notorious for getting stuff leaked, so you'd think they would have a way to fix that by now.
Mm-hmm. At least try a new way of fixing it or something. But
Yeah. And just the way you start it with that weird Assassin's Creed concert, just
well, they had some I mean, wasn't it like their open like what was it? Shoot, some kind of creator or something like that. A Quest creator, I think it was something like that.
yes.
So, I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
a lot, but it was like it was just something. Like it wasn't a lot, but I think that's that. I kind of forgot about that until just now.
Right,
but yeah.
right. But that's not like a new Assassin's Creed game. That was just like an
Right,
Assassin's
just a
Creed
new
thing. They just kind of said, oh, this is happening. Move on. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't really feel like a big announcement, which it maybe
Right,
could
which
have been.
again, which doesn't atone for all like the 10, 15 minutes of music going
Yeah.
on. Oh yeah, for this, it's like that's it. You had us hype like you were gonna announce a new one like today.
Yeah, I don't.